I was trying to give the life of a showgirl. The only thing that I could come up with was this jacket. That's what you guys are getting. I did some set dressing today though, so I appreciate that. Welcome to the life of a showgirl. A new Taylor album has dropped. First of all, I want to say I loved it from the start. It's a pop album. I loved the vibes of it. I really loved it from the beginning. Pretty much as soon as this came out, a lot of you guys were asking me to do the life of a showgirl book recs. I had to sit with it for a little bit. I had to really get to know the songs and then spend some time staring at my bookshelves to kind of come to a conclusion of what I feel like the book and song reflect together to give you these book recommendations. Buckle in, get ready. We are going to be talking all about the life of a showgirl, songs and book recs, what I think, my favorite songs, everything like that. But first, I do want to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, which is HelloFresh. I don't usually give second chances, but I'm really glad I did with HelloFresh. I am going to be completely honest with you guys. Right now, just with how hectic my life is, it is both hard to find the time and motivation to make just well-balanced, sustainable meals, which is why I'm very grateful for HelloFresh, because receiving the box and being able to count on recipes that are right out there for me, they're going to be fast and easy for me to make. I've actually used HelloFresh over the years now. I swear it is why I am comfortable cooking, because I would use HelloFresh. It was me dipping my toes in the water for the first time with even cooking meals by myself, and it made it so simple and easy that it wasn't scary at all. And I actually fall into the habit of making like the same 2 to 3 meals, and with HelloFresh it gives us a new fresh variety. It opens our family up to bigger menu options, and they actually have a premium protein selection, which is good for me because I'm getting back into the routine, getting back into working out, and I like to prioritize my protein intake. So it used to be just chicken, but now you can add premium steak and seafood for no additional cost. Listen, I use this. It is so convenient. I'm very thankful for it, and you guys should too. Give a second chance to the new HelloFresh by using my code DestinySidwellFM at HelloFresh.com for 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. 1 free meal per box with active subscription. Free meals apply to discount on first box, new or returning subscribers only. Varies by plan. Sign up today clicking the link down in my description, or use my code DestinySidwellFM at HelloFresh.com. And thank you so much again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video and keeping me fed through the hectic times. We're gonna be going in order. Now, I do want to say we're only covering 10 songs because I actually could not really come up with book recs for both canceled and actually romantic. Well, okay, actually romantic, the only book rec that I could come up with was Punk 57, but I genuinely do not want to recommend that book to anybody. I just couldn't come up with anything that I really felt like was a strong recommendation. But if you guys have some books that you feel like fits those vibes, feel free to comment them down below for other people. As I said, we're gonna go in order. So we're starting off with the first track on this album, also the single of the album, which is The Fate of Ophelia, which is literally, I think, my favorite song on the album. I have a pretty clear, distinctive top 5, and I feel like this one always is sitting at the #1 spot, even before I really kind of understood that The Fate of Ophelia was the single, because that went over my head for a while. Upon the first listen, this song was my absolute favorite. You just can't help but just like do one of these to it. Now, The Fate of Ophelia, what is this song saying to me? It is a light-hearted vibe, but with an emotional undertone. Think about like giving up on love in a low-key way, or just kind of like being good by yourself, referencing the lyrics for my loyalty to me, myself, and I. And basically the whole entire song is talking about how she basically had just kind of like given up on the thought of love, was just basically coming to terms with being by herself. But then this person comes in your life and you're like, you saved me from the fate of just being alone, and that's what my life was going to be. Also, the relationship in the book just feels light and fun. First up, we have One Golden Summer. This is one of my favorite books that I read this year, and I feel like genuinely if you were to pull off of my shelves one of the most like lighthearted, fun vibes of a book into a song for this, it would be this one. I actually don't know if that made any sense. I feel like that got a little confusing in the language there. This one you're following our main character Alice, and there's also an emotional undertone in this book because Alice is on her own. You know, she's out of this relationship, she's had a few things go wrong, she's pretty much fine in solitude. She goes to this lake town to stay with her grandma. Her grandma recently just had an accident and she's kind of dealing with that in her life right now, where she meets Charlie, who's helping her take care of this cottage. Basically they hit it off and they basically spend this one golden summer together. It is the best vibes ever. I found myself smiling throughout reading this entire book. I have so many different annotations and dog ears all throughout. I love the writing in this book specifically. It just catches the giddiness of like meeting someone new and kind of what that feels like, even in the little micro conversations and interactions that you may have with them. Absolute banger, just like the song. If we're speaking of light and fun, I have to recommend The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is truly just so light, so fun, and I feel like the reason that it fits the vibe is I feel like both of these characters respectfully, I don't know, both were pretty much just okay by themselves. I don't have recollection of like there being a specific thing that's happened within relationships. I don't have a recollection of them having like past relationships that went wrong. It's just that both of them were pretty much fine, like off by themselves. They were just living their own life. Our main character Anna, she's pretty much just like got her own stuff going on that she's worried about. Like neither one of them are really in a relationship. This is fake dating, but the way that their relationship progresses and she just like shows up for him. Every single time I recommend this one, I always say it. People say it's like Succession, but like make it family vacation and a very tropical vibe. Last recommendation I had is a little on the nose, you could say, which is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. Yeah. Funny, yeah, this book is literally so long. It is a good almost 700 pages. Also, I've had this book for years, and as I was reading it, the pages were falling out. I don't know why that happened. It must have been the way that the book was like bound, because it was bounded. Anyway, that doesn't have anything to do with the recommendation. I was very inspired by the lyric, pledge allegiance to your hands, your team, your vibe. So obviously, as you can tell by the cover of this one is heavily around football. Now I want to say, if you aren't familiar with Mariana Zapata's game, slow burn is her game. I'm talking about like slow burn. If you are okay with slow burn and just kind of like really watching this fire ignite from like nothing, you will love this one, and I feel like it has a really good payoff. To me personally, I really enjoy Mariana Zapata's payoff once you get to the end of it. But this one, she is his assistant, I believe. Yeah, assistant, housekeeper, fairy godmother to the top defensive end in National Football Organization. So it's a very, very fun book. I feel like it's very the fate of Ophelia. Obviously, that's why it's getting recommended. Can you guys tell? Like, I don't know how to end a recommendation. Track 2, Elizabeth Taylor, another one of my absolute faves. I would probably put this up there as well. Yeah, I would probably put this at number 3, honestly, on my ranking. The vibe that you get with this song is definitely from the point of view of somebody who is famous, who is in the spotlight of some sort, who basically is facing public scrutiny of some kind. And basically they have finally found somebody who appreciates them for who they are and kind of feels like a safe space for them to go to. First recommendation is Summer in the City. This one is also a little, you know, very much taking the lyrics literally. The lyric "Be my NY when Hollywood hates me." This one is I think it's billionaire. Is it billionaire romance? Billionaire millionaire? One of the two. Basically, they meet each other by chance one night, and then it's years later they meet again. They kind of have this like enemy thing going on, but they meet at a fake date. It takes place in New York City. Like I said, he is a billionaire. Is he like, I forget if he's the owner of a company, something like that. So he's very much in the limelight, in the news. They kind of start this relationship. Things go down that route. Then we have Not Another Love Song. These are two like musical composers. They are musicians and basically they are rivals. They're both kind of like fighting for the spot in the orchestra, and he is very well known kind of like within that space itself. He kind of has this like reputation around it, and basically they form this, you know, romance in this world. Another Mariana Zapata from Lukov with Love. Can you guys tell this is from like years ago, because this is when I used to annotate the crap out of my books. Now these are about two figure skaters. You've got an enemies to lovers plot line going on. Basically, they are and always have been rivals in the skating world, but then they come together because now they have to be skating partners, so things kind of switch up. But like I said, within that like athletic like figure skating space, they are both equally like very prestige, very well known, and can be under a lot of scrutiny within that world. Then we have Sounds Like Love. The male main character in this book is like in the public eye, so much so that when he comes to the small town that this book takes place in, and I think it's North Carolina, Vienna Shores, North Carolina, like he tries to wear like disguises and things like that, and he strikes up this partnership with our main character. With all of Ashley Poston's books, there's a little element of like magical realism, but I really enjoy this one. I enjoy like musical type books. Like I feel like I've said this before, but bookish people and then music type people, I feel like it makes for a really good romance, like what you can do with that. Also, I have said it every single time I recommend this book, but there is this place that her parents own and it's called the Revelry, and it feels like a character itself. Like it just feels like you can imagine it so clearly in your head, and it feels like you've been there before. Like it feels like you've walked in there, you have felt the place underneath your feet. Then we have When in Rome by Sarah Adams. In this one, our main character is a pop star. She's like a very, very widely known pop star. She's kind of getting a little burned out. She loves the Audrey Hepburn film Roman Holiday, so she's like, you know, I'm gonna go to Rome, Kentucky, because that's the closest area to kind of have this break that she's needing. And her car breaks down in front of our male main character's house, and they strike up this romance while she's in this small town hiding from a public and hiding from kind of like her career at the moment. Hello, be my NY when Hollywood hates me. But it also pretty much fits in the same way with Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is another like pop star female main character. She is coming to record with the brother-in-law of the male main character in this book. Sorry if this is getting too wordy and a little confusing, but she's basically coming to record an album with somebody else. She's been done a little bad by some other record labels, and she is like the, you know, like the pop star going into the country. She comes across our male main character like the first day that she even shows up. Quickly, the way he becomes like a safe space away from that like pop star stuff that's going on with her, again, really relates back to the lyric, be my NY when Hollywood hates me, you're only as hot as your last hit, baby. I've had number 1, but I've never had 2. I can't have fun if I can't have you. Next up, we have track 3, which is Opalite, which actually happens to be probably my second favorite on the album. This song is just so much fun. It's so much fun. It's light. It's very bubbly. An impression that I had, and then it was funny to see a lot of other people had, is that it also sounds very Christmassy for some reason. Now for that specifically, I actually have a few holiday book recommendations that fit the Opalite vibe. Is this a holiday song? No, but it does give you that vibe, and I said this, maybe I cut out of the vlog, I don't know. Opalite, I guarantee you when you guys are Christmas shopping this year, is going to be played over the department store speakers. I guarantee it. But basically, some holiday books that I thought fit the Opalite vibe is My December Darling. Bonus points, it is a novella, and I feel like it has like the perfect amount of exactly what's needed. Catalina and you have Luke, and they are both working in the same hospital. She is being her sister's maid of honor, and then Luke, best man, so it's maid of honor, best man. We also have Love Light Farms. I read this one a few years ago. It also gives you that Opalite feeling. This is also a Friends to Lovers one, and it takes place on a Christmas tree farm. Then we have The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, and let me tell you, I loved this book last year. Their chemistry, the vibes of the book overall, I absolutely loved it, and it's a mystery actually. Like there's the romantic element of it, but also it has the element of mystery. It feels very Knives Out. It's short and sweet. It's a lot of fun. Not everybody's cup of tea being holiday, but I have a few other ones that I feel like fit this vibe that are just our regular romance book. First of all, we have The Neighbor Favor. I really love this one because it's between two bookish people. Our female main character, basically she has this favorite like niche book series, and she starts emailing back and forth with the author, form this very like close bond over that. But then he ghosts her, y'all. But that's okay because she meets our MMC. She needs a date to her sister's wedding, and so she runs into her neighbor and they strike up this romance, The Neighbor Favor, and it just gives the vibe of this song, like very light, fun. Another book that I just remember when reading it just literally like kicking my feet and giggling, Behind the Net. This is a sports romance, but something about their chemistry really just clicked for me, and I was like, oh my god, Oh my god. Oh my god. Basically, you have our MMC, he plays hockey. Our FMC becomes his like assistant of sorts. Okay, and the last one, I actually recently just read this, and it is People Watching. Their relationship actually is so emotional, has really good communication, and then just overall, like, even though there are more like heavy topics in the book, their relationship itself just feels so joyful and fun. We are very tired, y'all. There's so many more recs to go. The next song is Father Figure, which actually happens to be like my probably number 4 song. I really love Father Figure. With this one specifically, my mind went to fantasy because I feel like in fantasies there's a lot of this kind of dynamic where it's like a mentor or somebody who is kind of like high up, or a main character who had a mentor and then something either goes wrong or, you know, the role flips, whatever it may be. So I took both like a positive and negative approach to this, really depending on which book it was. And also I love the way that my fantasy shelf looks, and I really didn't want to mess with it, so we're just gonna pop up some photos on the screen. First of all, we have the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. I feel like this trilogy is underrated. It is very good. It is so much that happens over the series, and the father figure role, it's not like father figure, it's more just kind of like that mentor feel, and it is between like our FMC and one of the side characters that are introduced, but it's a very important like relationship and plays out into the series. Then you also have the Cruel Prince trilogy. This one is definitely a big one with the whole entire father figure vibe, especially for our main character Jude. The Shadow and Bone trilogy, there is a character that gets introduced that acts of this like mentor-ish role, and that actually impacts a lot of the series and kind of the war that is going on within the whole entire thing. Also, the Shatter Me series, quite literally the father figure is pretty much the catalyst for the entire series as you keep on going on reading it. And then we also have the Bridge Kingdom, because this one very specifically with the father figure with our female main character is the reasoning for the whole entire plot of the book. Next up, we have the song Eldest Daughter. Now, the way that I kind of related these books to this song is by saying the main character carries a weight in their life in many different ways or variations. There's like an emotional weight to them, but then they meet this person who just makes their life feel lighter, feel joyful. And with that being said, this person is also just like fiercely loyal, in the relationship that then ends up happening is very loyal and committed. And they may be in a place where a relationship has went wrong in the past, they've been wronged in a relationship, but this relationship changed everything and made everything just a little bit better. Probably my most recent read that I feel like really fits this is If It Makes You Happy. I know that this is such an autumnal book, but you can literally pick this up anytime. I absolutely love this one. Our female main character, she goes to this small town and she has to run her parents' inn. She recently just lost her mother, she's recently divorced, and she runs into her neighbor who is a single dad who runs the bakery in town, and they strike up this friendship with each other. It's a bit of a slow burn, which I really enjoyed. I feel like I'm reigniting with the love of a slow burn. I'm appreciating it a lot more, but just the connection between the two of them emotionally first, and kind of how that plays into that eldest daughter. Specifically when talking about all of these recommendations, I'm really thinking of the bridge of Eldest Daughter. We lie back, a beautiful time lapse. Ferris wheels, kisses, and lilacs, and things I said were dumb, because I thought that I'd never find that beautiful life that shimmers that innocent light back like when we were young. So that specific part of the song is really what I'm thinking about when recommending these, and this one definitely fits that vibe. Then we have It's a Love Story. I feel like specifically with this book, to my memory, specifically the main character kind of has some struggle within like her parental relationship, so she kind of has that emotional weight, but then she meets the MMC, spends some time around his family, and just the joy that she feels when she is around him and around his family is exactly the vibe of this song. Same thing with Yours Truly. I feel like equally for both the MMC and the FMC, they equally find somebody who very much sees them in ways that nobody has ever saw them in a relationship. They're both very scarred from past relationships and how that has worked out for them. They end up working at the same hospital. They don't have the best first impression. I've always said that Jacob, the MMC in this book, is very relatable for his anxiety depiction within the book, and kind of how that maybe has him off to a rough start with people because people don't necessarily understand the inner workings of his brain and how he can come across, but what is really happening inside. And also Brianna and what she's been through in the past, but what Jacob provides for her in comfort and what she also provides for him in comfort. It is a beautiful story that does feel like it captures the essence of that bridge of Eldest Daughter. I think the bridge in Eldest Daughter is absolutely beautiful. Another Abby Jimenez, Say You'll Remember Me, I feel like also gives that vibe of there's a very emotional plot going on with our FMC and her mom. While that very emotional thing's going on, she's also building such a strong connection with our male main character. Provides us, I don't want to use the word distraction, but I will use it for lack of a better one, and kind of giving her this hope and shimmering light into her life while this other very, very sad thing is happening. Then we have Summer Romance, one of my favorite books of all time, but this one definitely, our FMC has recently been divorced. She's recently lost her mom. She's in a very down spot in her life, and when our MMC comes in, he just completely turns it around in the way their chemistry, their banter, the emotional connection between the two of them. I absolutely love this book. Of course, we have Beach Read. While January is dealing with trauma that comes both with her father's recent passing, but also has recently gotten broken up with out of a long-term relationship, the creativity that is reignited within her meeting Gus, well, they've already known each other, but re-meeting, and I feel like, again, that bridge is just so beautiful to me, and that's what their relationship feels like. This one's a little bit different, and I liked a kind of like different take on this one. That is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This one's actually second chance romance. The relationship is between a married couple who have separated and now they're coming back together. There again are very, very, very emotional things that have happened, and the reasoning for them kind of being apart from each other is very emotional and very heartbreaking, but the way they come back together is very, very beautiful. Next up, we have Ruin the Friendship. Now, I went two ways with this, because if you've listened to the song, you guys know once you kind of hit the bridge ending of this song, you kind of see the shift in it, because the first part of the song is kind of her singing about, I want to ruin the friendship. She's friends with somebody, she's always had this crush on them, and she wants to make a move. And then once you kind of hit that bridge towards the end of the song, you understand that that person is no longer with us and she's missed the chance. So she's saying, ruin the friendship is my advice. So I went two ways. One, taking it very literally in that kind of sad essence of the song, but also on the other one of just kind of having like a friends to lovers type of vibe in it. So first of all, you have the Full Tilt duet song. Actually is very true to both of these books, and again, these books are very, very emotional, but I feel like it captures that kind of heartbreaking essence of this song. Our female main character is a lead guitarist, and she kind of hits this rock bottom, but she meets Jonah while he's like driving one of the limos that she ends up being in, and they basically strike up this like relationship to very much help each other, and it's very emotional. Of course, we have If He Had Been With Me. This one is a friends to lover story. It's young adult, but it's very, very emotional. 1,000 Boy Kisses. This one is definitely more on the, I don't want to say immature side, but it's a little bit more like young audience, so just go into that understanding that. But this one also is very, very emotional, very sad. And then another one that fits this is Darling Venom. This one is adult, so is the All In, well, Full Tilt duet. Then this one's also adult, but the other ones are young adult. This one follows the same one, where basically you have our female main character. She meets this guy that goes to her school. They meet under very heartbreaking circumstances, and they basically make this vow to each other to like meet up every Valentine's Day. Something tragic happens, and then it's years later, and she ends up crossing paths with his brother. There's basically a storyline that just feels very unfinished that they both kind of come together to figure out. Okay, the rest of these are more like of the friends to lovers. This one still has some emotional undertones, but I lost the sleeve to this book. Promise Me Sunshine. This one still has an emotional undertone to it, but the friends to lovers plotline with this book is so good. Why does the slow burn? And it pays off so much in the end. Then we have The Friend Zone. This is quite literally the entire plot of this book is, do we ruin the friendship or do we not? Funny story, you know, we have Miles and Daphne. They end up in an unlikely position to now have to be roommates, and they spend a good majority of the book just kind of being roommates and friends, and you kind of see how that works out for them. And then we also have People We Meet on Vacation. Bonus points because the movie for this is about to come out, but this one literally ruin the friendship. The next song on it would be actually romantic, but as I've already said, I do not have a book recommendation for this one, so we will be skipping it. Next up is Wish List. Now, this song is, you know, I just want you, have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you, basketball hoop, driveway, you guys know how that song goes. Basically, it's a romance or a couple, maybe where one person didn't really see that life, and now they do, or they just kind of have this life that they envisioned with this person. A few books that I feel like really captured that for me. Love Unwritten. One thing I will say about this book is it is long. It could probably be a little bit shorter. The vibe that these two give of just that, like, I just want you, fantasizing about this long-term relationship is basically where we're at with them. Ellie is Raphael, it's his son's nanny. Nora goes off script. Absolutely love this book. Also a very short and sweet book. This one, actually, the main guy is this famous actor. She writes the screenplay. They're filming it at her house, and then he basically just like doesn't leave. It sounds very outlandish, but it is such a swoon-worthy romance. Out on a limb, I feel like this book is genuinely the epitome, especially by the end, of like, I just want you, have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. Such a sweet feeling. I feel like the song is very sweet, and I feel like this book matches that, as well as Ready or Not. This gives the same exact vibe in that one. This one, you're following Eve, and it's like an accidental pregnancy. There's a lot going on in Eve's life in this one, but she strikes up and finds a romance where she kind of, again, feels that like settling down, fantasizing about that with this person. Then we have the song Wood. I was like, how do I approach this song? Because if you guys have listened to the song, we've got some books that I feel like give that vibe of a redwood tree. Ain't hard to see. Things we never got over. Y'all, do you guys remember when this book had its moment? This one is following Naomi and Knox. Do you guys remember when like all of a sudden every author was writing both like their main characters? Like I feel like the name Naomi and I feel like the name Knox in this very like specific time, like 2020, 2021, there were so many books coming out with both of those main characters' names. It's a small town romance. Naomi is running away from her wedding for very specific reasons. She has to come and basically save her niece and kind of take custody of her niece that she didn't even know she had. And Knox lives in this small town, and he ends up being a very big help. It happened one summer. You guys have seen this book. If you haven't read it yet, what are you doing? Piper comes to this small fisherman town that her dad used to love, and basically she is sent there because she's this like LA socialite influencer, a little insufferable honestly, but then she comes to this small town to ground herself. Like that's what her stepdad sends her to do, and basically she meets Brennan because he is the town's fisherman. Stuff ensues. Icebreaker. Hockey romance. Then we have Caught Up. This is my favorite book in the Windy City series. Honorable mention, it's single dad. She becomes, I think, the nanny for a little bit, and you know, he's in the MLB. And then we also have The Deal. I feel like The Deal is like the original kind of like book talk type of like that. Also, they're filming the TV show for this right now. The next song, Canceled. Like I said, I guess cancel that one because I couldn't think of any books for it. Second to last, we have Honey. Now, this song, again, I feel like it's just a sweet song, and the way that I saw this one is maybe somebody has been wronged in the past, you know, the whole entire lyric of like, if anyone called me honey, it was for like a negative connotation. So basically the person kind of is scarred when it comes to relationships. Like if anybody ever did this or this for me, it was kind of like that, like passive aggressive, or it was just like to use me in a way, and now this is very new within the grounds of this relationship. Reckless is 100% the song. Winter and Theo, like Winter is very, very scarred by her past relationship and things that have happened in her life. So she kind of, her demeanor and attitude towards people on the outside can very much match her name. Very icy, very just kind of like not opened up for people. But she meets Theo, and like that changes everything. Like he is just sunshine in human form, and that really changes things for her. Then we also have Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This one is a lot more emotional. I would also check the trigger warnings for this book. Our female main character has had a very traumatizing past relationship, and she gets into a relationship with our male main character in this book, and he is just the absolute like most safe space you could find. We also have Play Along. I feel like this one kind of fits with the same exact vibe of Reckless, where Kennedy is the trainer for this MLB team and Isaiah is one of the players, and he has had a long-term crush on her. One drunken night they accidentally get married in Vegas. Stuff that really only happens in books. Maybe not, I don't know. But she also kind of has that demeanor, and there are things with her family, past relationships, and things why she kind of has this demeanor and attitude towards love and everything. But Isaiah turns that around because, again, he's just a safe space. He loves her truly and adoringly. Same thing with Wildfire. I feel like in this one, Aurora finally finds like a very genuine person who is interested in her in Russ. Like the way Russ is so fragile and emotional and really cares for Aurora is very new to her. And we also have the right move. I feel like Indy in this book, she is like a little bit scarred by the past, and she goes into this fake dating thing with Ryan, and he literally is just like, I remember when it was going around TikTok for a while, like little snippets of this book. It's very, very popular for a reason. I feel like, again, he provides that safe space for her. Okay guys, the very last song is The Life of a Showgirl. The whole entire point or feeling of this song is basically the person is at first looking up to this person in their life, and they're like, I want to be that. That is exactly what I want to be. And the person's like, listen, this is not all you think it's going to be. You're never going to be a showgirl. You don't want to be. But then eventually that person does come along to be that ultimately. So the book I'm kind of comparing to like fame or media and the cruelty that can come with the public eye on that, and what comes with like the life of fame in that way, but also that like character of Kitty, that being like a mentor of somebody and kind of using that advice ultimately to turn into the person that you become. The first two books that I thought of with this was Daisy Jones and the Six, the band and what this leads to in their personal life and how things unravel. It's, again, one of my favorite books of all time. I think about it all the time, think about the TV show. I would recommend this book regardless, but especially because it does relate to this song. As well as The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, again, having the eyes of this glamorous woman, especially in the time era that we're in with this book, and kind of how that can just feel very defeating, and how ultimately that leads her to live the life the way that she does. Another one is Great Big Beautiful Life. One of the characters that you read about in this book, she, again, her whole entire thing was that like her family was big in like the magazine, like very like paparazzi-esque industry, so she had a lot of eyes on her in that way, and ultimately how that led to very many different things within her family life and romance and everything surrounding that, and also the love story between the two journalists in this one I love. This is one of my 5-star reads of the year. Absolutely love it. Another one of my favorite reads of the year is The Favorites. These follow figure skaters, and you're following this relationship and friendships. It is juicy, y'all. I remember I stayed up all night one night to read this. Like, I started it like very late into the night and I finished it very early into the morning. I refused to put this book down. Let's just say that it is so interesting, so well written. There's like different point of view shifts. Like one of the point of views feels like a Netflix-esque documentary. You kind of see like what the people are saying in that, and then you go into like our main character's point of view to see what actually happened. My camera just overheated and stopped recording. I only had one more recommendation, which is Carrie Soto is back. This one specifically, like when the person is talking to the character Kitty, Kitty's giving advice. It kind of feels like Carrie Soto in a way, in multiple ways, where she could be the Kitty character, but she could also be that young aspiring athlete, like taking advice from other athletes and using that to their advantage. And then also as her career goes on, like what the eyes of the media, especially as a woman with the same like temperament and attitude she has, and how that feels. Those are all of the book recommendations I have for The Life of a Showgirl. I hope you guys found a new read. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had some fun. If you guys did, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff you guys know how to do. And with that being said, I am going to keep listening to this album because I love it. Let me know your guys' book recommendations down below for those songs, and I will see you when I see you.